everybody? LR Show. Hover.com, everybody. Domain names made simple. Log on to hover.com. Type in the promo code LUN, that's LUN, to save 10% off your next domain name purchase. No upselling, no tricks, everybody. It's easy. If you're looking for a domain name, everybody, go to hover.com.
That's right.
Promo code LUN, LUN. Email address, of course, the show, lunaticradio.com. We accept your emails, everybody. And the Drunkle Hotline, 206-202-LUN. That's 206-202-5666. Larry Meistrich will be joining us, movie producer, and all-around good guy, Rock would say. I've never met him. Rock has...
all-around good guy. Well, I'm not saying he's not, but, you know. That's kind of like you just generalize somebody.
He's an all-around good guy.
He's an all-around good guy. You can't go wrong with him, you know?
He's one of the boys. What do you think Larry's doing today? Is he? What is he doing? I mean, is he always wheeling and dealing? Is he like Ari?
I don't know. What do you think? I spent like
Come
hours
on, you
with
should
the
know.
guy. What do you think? I fucking don't know everything about him.
You're Mr. Is the word inquisitive? You should know.
Inquisitive? Can you spell inquisitive?
Fuck no. Oh. But you should know, right?
Hey, so Simon and I came up with this game for you that we should start playing on the show.
Great, I'm fucking thrilled.
Terms in the news.
Terms in the news. Okay.
Yeah. So
like where your head's at?
You know that you did you see the documentary Gasland?
No. Is that about farting?
Just not even. You're not even thinking. You're just immediately just blurting.
It's reactionary. Go ahead.
So there's a term in that movie that's used quite often. And I wonder if you know what the term means.
I guarantee I won't. But go ahead.
Hydrofracking.
Hydrofracking. Does anybody know what a hydrofracking is?
I'm sure people. It's in the news.
Hydrofracking.
Yeah, if you had to take a guess, what is hydrofracking?
See, every time I think of a new, I think of a word as hydrofracking, it almost sounds like jacking. It rhymes with jacking, so I'm going to go with something with the penis that involves water.
Let's keep in mind, we're trying to recreate. You can never recreate perfection, and we're trying to recreate your moment with biodiesel. And you can never recreate perfection, yes. Which, of course, anyone who remembers from that show, biodiesel is Vin Diesel's brother, cousin, whatever.
That's when you guys asked me what biodiesel was, and I just thought it was Vin Diesel's brother. Yeah. By the way, Too Fast, Too Furious, is that it? Fucking in the theaters, go.
Too many movies.
Go cop that shit.
They're really hydrofracking. Don't change the subject.
Paul Walker, I don't know how that fucking guy even. Whatever. Who cares? And who's the other guy? Trey Songz? Who's the black guy in it?
Trey Songz?
They're all the same. What the fuck? I get it. You sing R&B and you can
Trey
dance.
Songz?
It's not Trey Songz. It's somebody else, though. What was it?
Trey Stinks?
Trey Stinks. That's his brother.
Ashtrays?
Ashtrays, his cousin.
Come on, hydrofracking.
Hydrofracking. You're talking about gas. I have no idea. I don't have anything funny. What is hydrofracking?
No. It's the process of extracting
fucking
natural gas
from your asshole
using water and a ton of elements in order to have it project through to the whole process. But
see, I don't even want to know what hydrofracking is.
You don't even want to know? It's just too much for you?
Give me another one. You got another one?
Well, you saw the little clip on YouTube that was making the rounds that someone put the lighter up against the faucet and it lit on fire. I'm sure you've seen that.
No.
That was making some... Yeah, that's what...
God, don't drink that tap water.
Oh, wow. Johnny Genius over here.
Well, I would think,
Yeah. Because of all the elements that are in the water.
Where the hell is that tap water?
All over the country.
In New York, we have some of the best tap water.
Well, we do, but it's protected. But that protection could be lifted.
If you went to your faucet here, would you get a flame?
No, not right now. But if fracking was allowed in the New York waterway,
I don't like this fracking.
You don't want to like fracking, dude.
No, frickin' frack.
Really?
Yeah.
You go in there?
Come on.
Yeah, no fracking. Yeah, no, it's bad. Yo, guys, I'm at Griff's Bar in Staten Island. Shout out to Griff's in Staten Island.
Yeah.
Naked Jedi John's there.
Yeah. So fracking causes flames.
Well, it's a ton of chemicals. I'm surprised you didn't. We were convinced you saw this documentary. You like fucking jack off to documentaries.
I barely read the New York Post. I watch documentaries.
Yeah, that's right.
But yes. I literally, if I don't know what the documentary is about ahead of time, I just look based on the title. If it doesn't have anything entertaining, Like,
Gasland. That didn't sound entertaining to you?
I just didn't see that one. It would have, it would have been entertaining, or an entertaining title, something maybe I would have stumbled upon.
You saw Inside Job.
Yeah, but I thought that was all about blowjobs and handies. Apparently, it's about the financial system going into shit.
You had your pants down, your lube ready, like,
Yet
what is this shit?
Yet I got interested.
All right, so I understand your process.
I watched Transcendent Man. I had no idea what the hell was going on.
What was that? Isn't that a Michael Keaton film?
Some guy who's like a futurist. He talks about some shit.
Man. Oh, yeah, no.
Another guy that predicts bullshit.
I was thinking about Multiplicity.
Yeah. Multiplicity.
That's shit on wheels. That should be our opening question to Larry. Multiplicity. Thoughts?
By the way, we should go back on the Inside Job one was pretty good.
Oh, you want to repeat a joke?
Yeah, that was a good one.
You got
I just want to bring note. I want to bring note back to the joke I just said. That was a good one. I like that.
Now you're turning into an asshole now. Now the jokes that get out clear and clean, like, no, we need to repeat it.
By the way, Larry also produced Belly, The 24-Hour Woman, Sling Blade, Paulie, let me see if The Jersey Drive, Comfortably Numb, Handgun, Laws of Gravity. I think I've seen that one. Laws of Gravity?
Oh, yeah?
Who starred in Laws of Gravity? Is that a freaking, is that a Slater movie? Wait. That's a Christian Slater movie, isn't it?
the IMDb? Wait, what was the name of it?
Laws of Gravity?
Aren't you at IMDb? Click on it.
Yeah.
That's the magic of IMDb.
Link.
You can click on...
Hey, Kieran, what's a link? I don't know. Something in a chain? Ugh. Holy crap, Laws of Gravity! Oh my God, Rocket. Oh my God.
I never saw
Oh
that.
my God.
What? What's the matter?
I won't say it. I cannot say it. I cannot say it. But if you go back to lunaticradio.com circa 2002, there was a segment about Laws of Gravity.
What? 2002?
Yeah.
That was before me.
2002, 2003. There was a segment about the movie Laws of Gravity, which is an independent flick who's pretty much the star of the movie is the guy from Pulp Fiction who was in The Cellar, who played the cop, who was joining the guy and pounding Marcellus Wallace in the ass. That was the star of Laws of Gravity. The guy who rode the chopper. The guy's name's Zed, I believe.
Oh, okay.
Zed's dead, baby. Zed's dead.
Wow.
He's the star of Laws of Gravity. Independent flick. Took place on the streets of New York.
It's too bad no one could listen to a show from 2002.
I will turn off the mics.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. There we go.
Cool.
I got it out. I had to get it out before we interview Larry. Yeah, well, you know, Sling Blade, classic film. Yeah. Classic film. We'll talk to Larry. And Steve-O, who's got his new book coming out, Professional Idiot, a memoir by Steve-O. He was on the MTV Movie Awards last night doing a little skit with laser beams. And that guy who banged Scarlett Johansson, or used to be married to her, they were doing a little skit together. Ryan Reynolds.
What?
Mr. Abs and Chin. Chiseled chin guy who used to bang Scarlett Johansson, as I just said. Him and Steve-O were doing a little skit together.
Really?
Yeah, something about laser beams and boners. I don't know what the hell was going on. It really was about laser beams and boners. Something about laser beam boners. Pretty much that's what it was, I think.
Laser beam boners.
And Steve-O had a laser beam boner. And no matter what Ryan Reynolds told him to think about, like, you know, for example, he would say, all right, Steve-O, think about, I don't know, the guy, an old guy shitting. And apparently his boner was supposed to go away if he thought about an old guy shitting, yet it didn't go away. That was the joke. Maybe Steve-O was still had an erection, a laser erection, because he likes old guys who shit. That's a genius.
Wow.
That's a genius you get from MTV, people.
Wow. Poor Steve-O. Ryan Reynolds, because he's got to promote the Green Lantern.
Yeah, Green Lantern. Everybody was there. That's a big promotion about everything. Larry Meistrich, he's got a couple things coming up. Everybody, he's got a new casting opportunity for the Kemba Walker Draft Party, which you can check out at screentestpod.com. Do you know anything about that, Ronk? I guess he'll talk about it. You don't know?
No.
And then he's got another boot camp thing, which Rocket went to, where he met Larry, coming up in August in New York, where he teaches you about the biz, and if you had a project, like a film project, he allows you to pitch it to him, and you discuss it and this and that and the other thing.
I think he mentioned screen test, but I don't remember. So he's probably gonna ask me.
He's gonna have to talk to you about that.
Fuck no, he's gonna tell me like you should know it. Damn it.
Oh really? It's something you're supposed to learn during the
No,
seminar?
that wasn't something to learn. But I'm sure he promoted it. But he won't do that because why would he want me to promote something that he would do a lot better job at?
He's got a couple new things coming out. Something called the Over the Wall, which is a film, and Lilith coming out post production. They're all in the can, so they're siming them up there.
I'm so glad he was 15 minutes
15
away.
minutes, perfect, on time. Yeah, and that's about it. That's what he's got going. So, Larry Meistrich will join us momentarily. And as we do that,
should we just be in silence till he gets here? I think that would be great.
there was another story about. We didn't cover it last week.
Oh, there he is.
No, there we go.
Just-
as I was just about to segue into something else. Larry Meistrich, welcome to the lunaticradio.com show, sir.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Oh, he sounds beautiful now.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's better, right?
Yeah. Larry, you're a film producer, obviously the great creation of Sling Blade. You brought that all to us. How's it going? How's life?
Good.
Yeah, how's that horse you just bought?
Yeah. Well, I just had the plate removed from my arm.
Oh, that's right. He had surgery.
Might be selling that horse.
Oh, jeez.
A plate removed from your arm?
Yeah, I broke my elbow and my forearm and shattered it and dislocated it. All those kind of fun things.
I guess those are part of a recreational event you can do when you produce movies and you have some downtime. You can do these wild things, yeah.
See, I'm from the Bronx, and the only horses I knew had policemen on them.
That's right.
I should have known better.
Larry,
My second time on a horse.
Larry, Rock and I really don't talk to people of your ilk most of the time.
Wow, the way to just sell the show short.
Yeah, well, yeah. Well,
You don't talk to Jews?
yeah, that's where I was getting at. I mean, tell us. I mean, how is it? Is it a stressful job doing what you do and what you have done? Tell us about how did Sling Blade come about?
It's a stressful job. It's not a job where you know where your next thing is coming from. So, for people who are interested in the industry, you have to be comfortable not knowing what your future holds and what's going to work and what's not going to work. And there's a tremendous amount of trial and error and a tremendous amount of speculation that goes on. And you need some good luck, and you need to be opportunistic and comfortable raising money and asking people for things and all of those kinds of things. It's definitely different than a 9-to-5 job, and showing up at an office in the same place every day.
Sure.
In a suit. So yeah, it's stressful. It's pretty hard on your personal life. It's also pretty good for your personal life. So on the positive side, it's taken me all over the world, and you meet new people all the time, and you get to go to pretty cool places. They don't have film festivals in the hood. So, Sundance and Cannes and Venice and Berlin and New York and London are, pretty cool places to go hang out for a week at a time and work at. So, there's positives and negatives, but there's a pretty big barrier to entry. The biggest one being money.
Sure.
You have to be able to raise it, although I do think it's an interesting time now, given what the internet can do, particularly, things like we're doing right now. 5-10 years ago, that didn't work. And now I think you can launch very successful content the way you guys are doing it.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, kids these days, they can just, go out and spend a couple $100 on a nice little camera, and literally, with the software available on the net, and things you can purchase, you can really make a quality film.
Right, but in our defense, you just can't be anybody. You gotta, anyone could do it, but you still have to have the talent still, sure.
Yeah, but if you have the talent
Sure.
and you go to film school or something,
Right.
you can produce something.
Of course.
That,
I'm just trying not to sell ourselves short again.
Yeah, I
Well,
know.
you can produce something that you could make a series on the web and get viewership, for example, but you can't make a movie that will be in the movie theaters for a couple $100 with a camera.
Yeah, I'm not saying that, but I'm saying you could make something that you would think could have been in the movie theater. You know what I mean?
No, I know what you mean, but I think there's a perception out there
Mm-hmm.
that that's the case, but, I don't think you could. No one ever has. Nothing you've seen in a movie theater, and very few things that you've seen. In fact, I can't think of one on HBO or Showtime or NBC have cost $100,
Right.
or cost $10,000. Like all of that Paranormal Activity and El Mariachi cost $7,000. That's just not true. What got bought cost $7,000, but what was seen in the movie theater had another $500,000 to $1 million put into it.
Right.
For example, just to be rated, to get the PG or R rating, whatever you get, that's $15,000.
Right.
Jesus.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Just that. So if you want to have a release print to be able, let's say you shot it on digital and you want to go into the movie theaters, even if you do it digitally, it's $1,200 per screen to screen it. Your master is going to cost you $5,700 to $10,000. So it's kind of a nice theory, but it's just not real.
What do you think about that thing that Kevin Smith did to distribute his last film, Red State, instead of putting it out or selling it to some distributor at some film festival? He just went on the road with it himself.
I love that. I think I'm all about alternative distribution methods now, and he's a guy who knows what he's doing. Again, his film didn't. His film, I think that was a $7 million film or something. It's a lot of people to walk through the doors to recoup. But Kevin Smith also has the ability to generate press because he's Kevin Smith. I think it would have worked very differently for him if it was his first film and nobody had ever heard of him before than it does now when he's more of an established filmmaker and has established press relationships. Because, people get very focused on the making of a film and not so focused on the marketing of the film. Which I think does them a great disservice. So, making it's half the battle. Then letting people know it exists is the other half of the battle, which is also extraordinarily expensive to do.
Which is harder? I mean, obviously making a film is tremendously hard, but getting it out there to the masses, I mean, is that harder than actually the production and making of the film?
I think it's as hard. I kind of look at it 50-50, even when you're not trying to go to the masses. Like we've been releasing these documentaries about the world of ultramarathoning, called Running the Sahara, Running America. And, we're, targeting highly targeted audience, like people who run a lot. We're partnering with companies like Runner's World and, the race organizers and, places like that. But, it's still hard to reach runners. Just because somebody identifies themselves as a runner or as a subscriber to Runner's World magazine or something like that doesn't mean they're automatically buying your DVD about running. You got to repetitively message to them. Content is not something that people have to own, like food or a car or heat or clothing. So you're competing with every bit of recreational activity that dollar can go towards. Gaming, pay television, cable, nice sunny day, your kid has Little League tonight, whatever it might be, you're up against it. So it's not only getting them to hear about it, but it's getting them to hear about it and decide to purchase your content. And again, people have these sort of blanket perceptions like, oh, I have a runner. I had a conversation with a guy today, for example, on a film we were looking to acquire, and it has poker in it. It's sort of a poker spoof, like, what's the dog show movie? Best in Show. It's like that, but for poker.
Okay, cool.
And this guy's like just citing me all the people who play poker, and I'm like, great, man. Well, does all the poker players like live in one town? So I can market like just to San Diego, where all the poker players live, or does there are poker players in every city and every town, which makes it a national campaign.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to find sort of smart alternative ways to get to this poker audience, and because you're a poker fan doesn't mean you want to watch a spoof on poker playing. It's a very specific kind of audience, and filmmakers and again, film's a weird term now. I like to think of it as sort of content creators or artists or whatever it might be, should really think about who their audience is very specifically before they start. So I'm going to make this web series, and I'm going to target it to whom, and how many of those people are there, and what percentage of those people, if I make good quality content, because that's the key. If you don't make something any good, nobody's going to pay for it.
Right.
Just because it's it's a bad poker movie, it's just a bad poker movie that's going to never be sold. So sort of the content being good's a given, and then how do you get people to buy it? How do you get them to pay? What are you offering them?
At what point in your career in your producing of films did you realize that what I should maybe step away from doing the feature length film and just get into creating content, whether it's in a long format or short format? At what point in your career did you decide to do that?
I would say in the last year and a half.
So this is kind of new.
We're still doing the feature stuff because we're good at it. We know how to do it, and it helps drive everything else. But we have a bunch of cool web stuff that we're about to do, and I'm kind of just as excited about that because on the web you can really know your audience in a different way than you do in a movie theater or having something on television. Because there's 2 or 3 layers of other companies in between you and your consumer. In a movie theater or, on TV. You have a general idea of how many people go and in what cities they go the most, but you don't know their names or their profiles. You can't talk to them. You can't interact with them. That's why, I kind of like what you guys are doing.
Mm-hmm.
Is, hey, we got an idea. Fuck it, let's do it ourselves and see if we are good enough that people tell their friends.
That was pretty much verbatim how we started the show.
Hey, Rock, you want to do a show?
Yeah.
What show? No, we'll get some microphones.
Hey, Larry, we'll talk about Screen Test Pod and your boot camps, but we got you on. We gotta touch Sling Blade a bit and just pick your brain about it and talk to you a little bit about it.
I'm in no hurry. I got nothing to do.
So I guess first,
game's on.
yeah, right. Knicks are out. Mets took 2 out of 3 though. So how did you? Yeah, he's a Met fan too. I know. Kieran just rolled his head because Larry grew up in the Bronx and he's a Met fan. It was a moment that Larry and I had when we mentioned that we both were Mets fans. I was like, wow, but he lives in the Bronx, which is really tough being a Met fan there.
Well, I feel sorry for the both of you.
and I never was down with Steinbrenner. I just couldn't hack Steinbrenner.
Oh yeah, but we hire all-stars every year. I
Right.
love it. That's
Yeah.
what I love.
Yeah.
All right, go ahead.
Whatever. So I guess the first thing is so how'd you get involved with Sling Blade?
I was shooting another film called New Jersey Drive here in New York, and you're constantly on the hunt for money, and we were having meetings on set with some investors, and we met with forget the guy's name to tell you the truth, but a guy whose father had sold the regional telephone company for a lot of money, and he had made this short film, and we didn't really know anything about it. And Sling Blade was a short before it was a feature,
Mm-hmm.
and we met with this guy, and he's like, I got a short film, and sort of early on in our fundraising days, and we didn't know how to do it. Our kind of rap then was like, hey, you're rich, can we have some money? Which never works. And just kind of didn't sort of connect with the guy, and he left the short behind in our trailer, and a couple of days later it rained, and we had nothing to do, so we popped it in, and it was sort of the first 20 minutes of the movie, which is the insane asylum part. A little bit different cast. It had Molly Ringwald in it.
Wow.
One of the girl interviewer, but it was J.T. Walsh and Billy and different director. Billy did not direct that one, and we're kind of blown away by this short. So I called up William Morris, who was my agent at the time, and I was like, "Hey, do you know who represents this guy, Billy Bob Thornton?" And they were like, "Hold on a second. Oh, we do." But probably the first guy in a while who had called about him. And so yeah, I saw this short film. I'd love to meet with him. They're like, "Great, we'll set it up." So I flew out to California to meet with Billy and met with him in this big sort of fancy conference room. And I didn't know at the time, but he hated producers, which, particularly Eastern producers. So he didn't really talk to me in the beginning. And I really had nothing to offer him. Starting out my career, I didn't have much money. And I was like, look, I know the director who actually just recently passed away was a guy named George Hickenlooper, who I thought did a really good job. So my whole pitch was to have Hickenlooper direct it and Billy write it and star in it. And I'm allowed to curse on this show.
Oh, yeah,
absolutely, yeah.
So Billy hasn't looked at me once in this meeting, so I had my whole rap. I'm like, yeah, we'll get Hickenlooper, and, if you guys write it on spec, I'll get the money somehow, blah, blah, blah. And so I'm like, so how was it working with George? And he still doesn't look up. He's like, George is a fucking cunt. So my whole kind of thing's out the window. So the only thing I could think of, and there's sort of a line in the movie about a hairy bush, I'm like, really? Did he have a hairy bush? So Billy looks up at me and I think he was expecting that answer, and he's like, "You're from New York, right?" Like, yeah. He goes, "A lot of Italian girls there with hairy arms, right?" I'm like, "Pretty much." So I'm like, "Look, man, I don't really have anything to offer you, but it seems like this is such a personal piece. If you write it, would you consider directing it? And I don't have any money to pay you to write it." He's like, "Okay." It's like, "I'll give you the script on January 7th, and I think we're meeting in September or October." And I'm like, "Whenever's good." He's like, "Okay." We shook hands, and the script showed up on January 7th, exactly like he said. He called me January 8th, said, "When are we starting?"
Wow.
I went with April 1st, figuring I could get out of it as an April Fool's joke. And we went, and it's actually the only film I've ever been involved with out of 70 films that was shot verbatim for the draft that I was given.
Wow.
Really? Wow.
Not a word was changed, not a location was changed. Everything sort of went perfectly well, and it's one of those things. And like I was kind of saying to whoever's listening, you got to be opportunistic, because I had this amazing project fall in my lap, but when I raised the money, it was a $900,000 budget. When we opened our production office, I had $40,000, and I charged the rest of the movie on American Express and Discover card checks.
Holy crap!
That is the gambles you take.
That is a freaking gamble.
That is a big
Holy
gamble.
smokes!
Yeah. So the funny thing about Amex is you have to pay at the end of the month, which didn't work out so well.
Right.
I'm still on the "you can never have an Amex card for the rest of your life" list.
Well, yeah, I can imagine.
I called them up when people were doing those commercials. How they built their business. I'm like, "Hey, dude, I charged a whole movie on my Amex
Yeah, right.
and won an Oscar. I think you should put me on the commercial and take me off the bad list."
Yeah, really?
No. You can never have an American Express card again.
That's amazing. So, I mean, here you are. You make Sling Blade. You get the movie shot. Now you don't know whether or not this thing's ever going to make any money. It's good, and it is a classic. I mean, we were just talking about it before you came on the air with us. It's a classic movie. It's something people still reference and quote and this and that. And there you are with all this debt, and you're going, all right, how are we going to make this back? What do you do at that point?
Well, I mean, we were fortunate enough to sell that for the highest advance ever paid for an independent film. So that kind of took care of that. We had an industry screening, and we sold it the night of the screening. So, we got fortunate in the sales portion of the process. And
But that night when you did the industry screening, did you know for a fact that you were going to get something back, somebody was going to buy it, or did you go in and going, has to be the night? We
went in there thinking it has to be the night.
Yeah.
Wow.
We didn't realize we were going to get as much as we got, but Miramax stepped up to the plate and paid a lot of money for it, more than anybody has ever paid before or since. So
Yeah, and now Billy Bob Thornton's in all of our mind. I mean, I don't know what he did before. I don't remember him before that.
he had written a film called One False Move, which launched Carl Franklin's career. I mean, Billy's a genius. He's a phenomenally good writer. And just actually, I think he's one of the few great actors there are.
Mm-hmm.
I think most actors are personalities. But Billy can be anybody.
Yeah.
And, if you look at him in Sling Blade versus A Simple Plan or, Bad Santa, he can pretty much do a lot of different stuff. And I think that's very rare. So he'd written, that One False Move, which launched Carl Franklin. And then he was on a sitcom called Evening Shade with Burt Reynolds.
Mm-hmm.
And then he was like the redneck in all of the, Steven Seagal movies, like, kill that redneck. That was Billy.
Yeah. Well, you've had
So, he'd been kicking around for quite some time in L.A. and trying to make it and hadn't really yet. And, Sling Blade made him a star, both as a director and a writer. And, he parlayed, more of the acting because it's faster money. But I'm sure he's going to come back to directing again.
Yeah, he's an absolute phenomenal actor. And he also got to get Angelina Jolie in her prime, which is great.
Yeah, you have no idea, man.
Oh yeah, I'm sure some of the stories that Larry has, behind the scenes
literally,
stuff.
Brad Pitt got her a
The
little
only
bit.
thing I'm going to say about that, because I'm on the radio, is...
No, we're off air right now, Larry. You can say whatever you want.
You have no idea how pretty she is.
Really, yeah, and especially back
Like,
in
as
those.
good as she looks on TV and everything, just, hard to breathe pretty in real life.
I got to imagine you've come across some women in your time out there making these movies and this and that and the other thing would probably make me have a heart attack.
Yeah, like, I have a pretty good rap, I'm not that shy, and when you go to the Venice Film Festival, they literally give you handlers, and, film is a lot more important in Europe than it is here. They take it culturally seriously.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, the Venice Film Festival's on the beach, the Lido Beach in Venice, and they literally erect a platform that the filmmakers, you walk like half a mile from, these two hotels into this, they call it a palace, like a movie palace.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a 1,500 seat theater. And the projection is so good and the bulb is so bright that you can only run your print through it once because then it's burned.
Wow.
But it's the best your film will ever look.
Yeah.
But they give you these handlers who, like, walk you in. Literally. I just couldn't talk.
Oh, boy.
Wow. It's good to be the king.
What?
This film thing's a pretty good idea, I think. I'm glad.
Yeah, I was like I wasn't feeling the stress that day.
Yeah. Yeah, unbelievable. Rocky,
Like from the countryside in Italy, just like from Mussolini said, go find the 10 prettiest girls in the country.
Wow.
Have them walk people in.
Jeez, man.
Jesus.
I can't even imagine that.
We should get out of Radio Rock.
You can imagine that.
I could.
I mean, the only pretty girls I see are on the internet and doing weird things.
Yeah.
Forgot this guy met me.
Yeah, that's right, Rock.
So let's talk about your new endeavors. One of which is ScreenTestPod.com. So what's going on there? So when we go to our website, what's happening there?
Well, one of the things that we're trying to do right now is sort of open up the process to people who want to be in film or web series or content or whatever it is that they're doing. And we've created we call it the touch point process, and we've created a couple of touch points along the creative process that we can open up to the public in a merit-based way. It's not a contest. It's not trying to embarrass anybody. But it's a way to say, hey, we're doing movies, we're doing web series, we're doing some TV stuff. You want to be in it? You can go to our casting site, which is Screen Test, and try out. You have an idea. You can go to our pitch site, which is called Pitch Next, and you can submit your idea. Out of Pitch Next, I think we've bought 25 ideas at this point.
Wow.
We've made them. Some of them we've made, some of them are in development. Some of them are about to go into prep, and other people are using these tools as well besides us. Like, we're doing this thing for Kemba Walker for his draft party, where we're going to cast 2 hosts to work the red carpet and work the party, and try to get discovered that way by people who are interested in hosting. So we have all this stuff available there where people can try to be part of it, because the one thing that I think is pretty negative about our industry is it's extremely closed. It's very hard to figure out how to break in,
Right.
Even if you have the talent to break in. And we're trying to make it a little bit easier for people to participate and get in, because I'm a firm believer that the system has gotten stale. It's the same books. Mr. Popper's Penguins are being recycled into the same sort of, how many times can we watch Jim Carrey be a goofball?
Right.
And I kind of think he's funny, but, we've seen the joke already, and, Green Lantern, Captain America,
Yeah. We were talking, how many Twilights can there possibly be?
Well, let's get away from the wolf thing, all right? That's what I'm saying.
And we think that there's talented people who live in, Queens even, and Ohio and Georgia and, Argentina, who aren't looking to make studio films. I think the studio films are good for what they're good for, and they serve their purpose, and they serve a need. But, I think with the advent of what's going on with technology, that you can find people who can create and do things differently.
Yeah,
So
I like.
that's what we're trying to do.
I completely like this idea because you're right. It's almost impossible to get into the business, and you really need. There's so many people out there with great stories, great ideas, this and that and the other thing. They don't have the money to throw away at all, but they have great ideas, and that's what is going to fuel our entertainment. I think people that watch movies, you got that slew of people that love the Big Bang thing and the special effects stuff, but I think there are a slew of people, a legion of people out there that love movies just based on the stories.
Sure,
alone.
Absolutely.
Like Sling Blade, for example.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
and Sling Blade would probably not do as well today as it did then, because those movies are not getting made that much anymore, so the audience is kind of drying up for them, drying up's a bad word. The audience is not exposed to it anymore, so they're just sort of complacently going, okay, Kung Fu Panda's out, okay, Green Lantern's out, that's what I've seen the commercial for, that's what I'll go to. And that's what I think the internet is perfect for, is sort of breaking through those crevices and cracks and, giving people opportunities to do stuff that they couldn't do. And, that's, obviously met Adam at the boot camp, and, the other thing we're trying to do with these boot camps is teach people, like, this is how you break in. These are ways to do it, because my biggest pet peeve with people in our industry who've been successful is, you go to these film festivals and you sit on these panels and you tell people, well, what I did was this, and, that's wonderful, but, I don't think that path exists anymore. So, for example, in my case, my first film was a film called Laws of Gravity, which launched the careers of Edie Falco and Peter Green and Nick Gomez and myself. Incredibly successful at the time. We won the Berlin Film Festival. We beat out Malcolm X and Unforgiven to win that film festival. Made a ton of money on it, really successful, got a free picture deal at Universal, the whole thing. If that film's made today, it's a paperweight. Nobody buys it.
right.
And it certainly doesn't come out theatrically because I have no movie stars. The whole New York indie crime drama thing has been played out. So my path can't be, John Doe's path right now because I think my path's closed. I'd have to find a different path today.
Mm-hmm.
So, we're trying to find people and give them some insight into, like, don't listen to me about my path.
Right.
Find your path. And we found really talented people, like that film Running America that we released and made. It was a boot camp student directed it. A guy from Ohio.
Wow.
It wasn't a New Yorker or, somebody who, had all the advantages, and somebody from rural Ohio who just was a good filmmaker.
I think that's what the point you're making about there is no path is a really good point to get out to people who want to get into any type of entertainment, part of the industry, whether it's comedy or stand-up comedy or radio. Even there's no path you can follow. You can't look at somebody guy's career and go, all right, this is what I have to do to get to there. It's just it's all luck and being able to be talented and open yourself up to things like what you're doing right now with the Screen Test Pod and the boot camps and types of stuff. You need to really throw yourself into that stuff and then learn more about the business and the way things are going now to find your own path.
So many people who just don't want to take the time to learn that this is a business. And if you don't understand the business aspects of it, you're gonna fail. Like, did you guys see Exit Through the Gift Shop?
Yeah. Banksy.
Do you think that guy Banksy is ignorant to the business side of things?
No.
First of all, I don't believe a word of that film. I think it's a complete setup.
Yeah,
I do as well. Yeah.
Every time I watch a documentary, Larry, I go onto the internet to see what people write about it, and there was a ton of crap about that film, about how it was set up.
Like a mockumentary?
Yeah, mockumentary, yeah.
Yeah, I think he's totally playing a joke, but that guy straight understands the business of what he's doing. Right. And I think that's important for people to be, successful artists, and I think people have this perception that you can't be a successful artist if you're good at business, or if you pay attention to the business,
right?
And you can be, and in fact, I can't name a filmmaker, and I know a lot of pretty successful writer, directors, producers. You think Spike doesn't get the business? You think Spielberg doesn't get the business half? You think they're just completely a slave to what their managers say and their business managers and their accountants? Of course they get the money.
Yeah.
Of course, Daisy doesn't understand the business. Whoever it is that people like, they get it. The guy who's like, I'm an artist, don't talk to me about business, doesn't work. And doesn't mean you have to conform to make everything the way other people want to make it, but you should understand who your audience is, how you're going to speak to them, how you're going to get them to pay you for whatever it is that you're making. And your budget should correspond to the size of what you think your audience is.
I hear Larry talking like this, and I'm going, wow, I really have no business sense, but what the hell am I selling? Shit? I mean...
But you can't do that. You can't put down your product.
If I was at the boot camp, it would have totally failed on
You know what? I started doing that. I actually started doing my little self-deprecation bit, and, Larry was giving me the look, you can't do that.
Yeah, I got in his face a little bit about that.
But it's true. You can't put the product down. It's a good product.
I obviously think we're funny, but I don't know what, like he was just talking about, obviously he's talking about film and that type of industry. This is radio. It's kind of different, but you want to sell the show, right? You want to be on a big network somewhere.
It's an entertainment media, so it is. You can, make your comparisons.
You guys, and again, I just met you, so, I can't speak to your track record and your history, but if you guys just sucked, nobody would listen.
That's right.
It's true.
And the fact that you have whatever the amount of listeners, 5, 10,000, 100,000, whatever it is, means you're doing something that's compelling people to A, listen to you, and B, it's outside of the scope of, just your friends and family
right.
running up the numbers. So other people are telling people to listen. And sometimes the bigger platform will ruin it. Right. Sometimes it won't, the bigger platform did not ruin Howard Stern. But, again, as much as Howard Stern made on Sirius, which I believe was $500 million.
Yeah, it was a lot.
And it's a different time now, whatever, it's 3 or 4 years later since he did that, the technology's different. I don't know if I'm Howard Stern if I don't do it myself.
Right.
And do my radio show on howardstern.com and set up the infrastructure to do my own ad sales and, you know, make it a subscriber base like Sirius is. And, you know, 6 million people at $20 a month or whatever it is, $5 a month.
I should have went to the damn boot
Howard
camp.
would have had a lot more than 6 million people if he went to his whole audience, go to my .com site, and pay me $3 a month, $5 a month.
Right.
He had 20 million people. That's $100 million a month.
Right.
Yeah.
No,
Son of a-
Larry is a smart guy. Larry Meistrich, we're on the phone with him, and he has executive produced a ton of films, ScreenTestPod.com, and you got another boot camp coming up in New York in August, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You guys everybody should come out.
Yeah, I mean,
And somebody's going to do what I just said, by the way. I think it's going to be the NFL. That's my prediction.
yeah, he
What?
spoke about this at boot camp.
What? Like, what do these...
The NFL is going to say, you know what? Fuck this TV deal.
No shit.
Somebody smart's going to do it. Or maybe it's not the NFL. But if you made me in charge of the NFL tomorrow, I would call up all my network partners and I say, voiding the deal. I'm going to pay for the cost myself of filming the games, which is a drop in the bucket, you know, realistically.
Mm-hmm.
NFL owns every game ever filmed of every play in NFL films, right?
Right.
And I would go to the global football audience, and I would say, games play regular times. They're live at NFL.com, or you could watch them anytime you want. $5 a month.
You're right. You know, that's a good idea because then you can also select what games you want to watch and this and that and the other thing.
Imagine that.
Then you can watch. You want to watch all the games back to back to back. You want to watch pieces. You can do whatever you wanted as a consumer.
That's not a bad
And
prediction.
The
but-
NFL
yeah.
could do all of their own ad sales, and most importantly, by subscribing, instead of knowing, like I think the statistic's something crazy, like 113 million people a week watch the NFL. You'd know their names.
Yeah.
You know their addresses. You'd have their credit card
Right.
transactional information. You'd be able to interact with them in such a deeper way as the sport. And you know, as internet TV gets enabled and you know more prevalent and all that stuff, I think the same is going to come for the radio. It's not, probably not far away from internet-based radio in your car.
Well, I mean, even before, in the beginning of this interview, you just were mentioning the name movie theaters. I'm just like, I thought of that, and I was like, wow, you know, why do you even have movie theaters anymore? I mean,
There is a certain interest in going to the theater, you know.
Obviously there is, but I mean, it's not
I
a
think movie
necessity.
theaters will always be around.
Sure.
I think it's event-based marketing, like going to a concert.
Mm-hmm.
I think the experience will start to get enhanced. Like, there's a chain that popped up in Texas called the Alamo Draft House.
Yes.
You guys are familiar with it?
Yeah, I heard about that. Yeah.
Yeah, but basically what they did is they took out every other row,
Mhm.
and they stunk the floors, and they put a bar in it.
Yeah.
So like the 20 minutes that you're sitting there, you can order a bucket of beer and, you know, bar food, like wings and burgers and salads and stuff. So it's like a cool date. You know, you go to a movie, you can eat and drink while you're watching the movie. They were smart, like all the utensils are made out of wood, so there's no noise and clinking and clanking. And I think they're going to start, you know, upping the ante in the theaters with those motion seats and the, you know, 3D inserted into your eyeball, you know,
Right.
Whatever it might be. But, you know, people like to get out of the house. People like to go have popcorn and candy. And, you know, I think that will always be there. I think what's about to go away is like the whole DVD market.
Oh, I believe that. Sure.
People are going to download it or put it in their cloud or put it in their iPads or whatever it is in their movie collection. Like, I was just actually in a store for one of those home theaters,
Mm-hmm.
and they have a rack now where you can basically, you know, put 5,000 movies in, you know, a thing the size of a desktop computer.
Jeez.
And, you know, store them all digitally, and it's all HD or Blu-ray, whatever came on the disc or however you download it, it can, you know, be reformatted. And it's like, all right, well, you know, that satisfies the collector market.
Mm.
And, you know, in home's it's just gonna be theatrical and in home. That's what it's gonna end up being, I think.
Hey, Larry,
It's still a huge market. So.
oh, without a doubt, yeah. But I mean, Blu-ray has a little bit of a shelf life still, though, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's not like for us, in our distribution side, I would say it's about 65-35 right now, DVD downloads as to what people purchase. But last year, it was 70-30.
Okay.
So I would say that's kind of a rapid change, even though it's 5%, but that's a lot in a year.
Right.
So, we're seeing a lot of people download, particularly internationally, because people, obviously the shipping's a lot. So, ton of downloads internationally on, on all of our content and all that kind of stuff.
Hey, Larry, here's something that I was just wanting a little heavy business question. I was just kind of curious. Why is it that you can go to see a movie, granted maybe 2 weeks or so after it premieres here in the States, but let's say in Mexico, and it's like $3-4 on a Friday night, and like, why is that? Why is it so much cheaper? And then to tack on to that, how come things like as well in Mexico, they have a lot more theaters called like VIP theaters where you get like the full, and granted they have the Texas thing, but it seems like it's more common outside of the United States. Why is it so much cheaper to go see a movie outside the States, and why do they have these luxurious accommodations which seem like they're very few and far between here in the States?
Well, because their consumer base can't tolerate, a $12 ticket price.
Mm.
And don't forget, we're also in New York, which is, the highest ticket price. In Ohio, it's still $8,
right,
$7.
Right.
And in a lot of places, particularly, places like Mexico and India and stuff,
Mm-hmm.
a lot of people go for the air conditioning, believe it or not.
All right, I get that.
Serious. Even in the Middle East and all that stuff, because for $3 you can go be cool
right,
for a couple of hours, and you can't afford air conditioning and you can't afford to travel. The vast majority of the Mexican population's poor.
Right.
And again, culturally, movies are something outside of the United States that are like Mexican, like the filmmakers are much more revered than our filmmakers. Our filmmakers are more like pop culture people, where like Mexico or India, their filmmakers are like, icons.
Right.
And, they want everybody to see it. And a lot of times also film, particularly in Europe, to a certain degree Mexico, but a lot of South America, Venezuela in particular, it's highly subsidized by the government. So like I acquired a film about 5 or 6 years ago, which we released here, called El Bola, which was the Spanish film from Spain.
Okay.
And was the film that swept their equivalent of the Oscars, which are called the Goya Awards.
Goya. Really?
Yeah.
Of course they're called the Goya Awards.
God damn it.
Not after the bean, after the artist.
Oh.
Well, there's our intellect right there.
Yeah. And it was a $5 million film, and they got $4 million of it from the government that they didn't have to pay back.
Holy
Wow.
shit.
As a grant. Like, we don't have that here.
Right. Wow.
So, because they feel Spanish filmmakers are part of their culture and part of their, voice to the rest of the world and all of that stuff. And we don't. That being said, on the other side of that, and I'm not a Nobel Prize winning economist or anything, but I'm pretty sure that the statement I'm about to say is correct, which is, I think that's the last industry that we globally dominate.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
Avatar doesn't come out of any other country. There's not really been a global theatrical hit the way we consistently put them out, and our directors and even more importantly our crew base, our cinematographers, our editors, our production designers, etc. They're the world-class talent, and no matter how much money you have, like we've been doing some stuff in the Middle East, and they have literally rolling in money, but they don't have any expertise, and they don't have any crew base, and they don't have any talent, and really is our best export right now. And our biggest.
I'll go one step further. I think it's our only.
Yeah.
It really is the only one notable, you know?
No, which is kind of scary, yeah.
You know, we're losing a lot in technology, which had been our other one, you know, automotive, steel, you name it.
Well, we got Apple. There's the other one. Apple's the other one.
Yeah.
iPods and iPhones. That's about it. Yeah. Wow. You know what, Larry? It's been a pleasure talking to you.
Just a wealth of knowledge. And I could speak firsthand. I mean, if you are an inspiring filmmaker or have something that you really want to get out there, definitely go to the boot camps. What's the website for if people want to find out more information about the boot camp?
It's filmboot, FILMBOOT.com.
Mm-hmm.
And we're doing one in the city in August. And hope some people come. Definitely.
I mean, I could speak, like I said, I could speak firsthand. It's definitely worthwhile, and as hopefully this interview show that Larry's just a vault of knowledge in the world of what's the matter.
To be honest with you, I just met Larry on the phone here, and he already got me rethinking my direction for the radio show.
Oh, look at you! That's the magic of Larry Meistrich.
I have an idea for your radio show, which we could talk about.
Nice.
Take it to the next level if you guys want.
Does it involve strippers?
It could.
All right. Yeah, Larry, we'll love to entertain anything.
Definitely.
You're a smart man.
All right, well, next time I'm on, I'll come there and drink with you guys.
Nice!
Yes, Coors Light for everybody.
Everybody wins with Coors Lights.
Larry, it was a pleasure, man. And honestly, more success to you, and good luck with everything you're doing. You already had a tremendous career already. And
thank you, guys.
And I appreciate it. It was nice talking to you.
Yeah, hopefully we get to meet him in person soon. We'll maybe set something up. Maybe get a little chit-chat with Mr. Meistrich.
Yeah, we're nice people, Larry. We're not vultures.
He met me in person already, so we already have that. Look, that's funny. That's Larry. That's something interesting about this show. And when people don't get when they don't meet us and they just know us through the show, they think even though we're funny, we goof around, people think we're kind of have this meanness about us, and then they meet us obviously, and they realize, they're just a couple of schmucks from the island. But that's the one thing we need to work on with the show is that we're not mean guys.
Yeah, we're nice. We just like that.
Do you think we're mean guys, Larry? Did we seem like we were mean talking to you?
No.
See?
No.
There it is.
People think that about Howard too, and he's not mean.
That's true. That's true. We thought that about Chauncey too.
Yeah.
So it's
yeah, we're good guys.
We're good guys.
All right, we're keeping Larry. He's got to go make a couple $1 million in the next 5 minutes. He's got an idea. He's the guy that makes money. Come on.
Right, exactly.
Let's go.
Larry, thank you so much for coming on the show. Again, screentestpod.com. And definitely, if you're in the New York tri-state area or if you want to fly in, I would highly suggest it. Firsthand, I was at one of his boot camps. And if you're an inspiring filmmaker or have something that you want to pitch or just learn more about the business, Larry Meistrich is a vault of information.
Well, thank you guys, and we'll talk to you guys soon.
Yeah,
definitely.
Stay in touch, Larry. We got beer, cooling off here. So come on over.
Okay.
All right.
Thanks, Larry.
I'm on the Scotch night, I think.
Oh, nice.
All right. High roller, Mr. Movie Producer. All right, Larry, you're great. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay, guys.
Take care.
There he goes.
Bye.
There's Larry Meistrich, everybody, man.
Does he just not have
He's got a wealth of knowledge. And by the way, it was like our first conversation. I guarantee we have another conversation with guys. We're gonna do a little dabble of the inside of Hollywood type stuff, business stuff, but there's gonna be a lot of laughs. I'm sure he's got a tremendous amount of stories.
He has stories.
I want to hear them.
I don't know what
I didn't know where to go because I've never met the guy. I want to hear the stories.
I almost don't know if I could say where you could hear some of the stories.
He could probably write books. He could probably write books on stuff that's happened.
All I'll say is he's got stories.
Good.
I'll just say that.
Want to hear them. I want to hear them. All right, we'll take a break. We'll come back. We'll do some more stuff on the lunaticradio.com show. Stick around. Steve-O possibly at the end of the show. All right, back right after this.